Welcome to the happiest place on Earth. Since 1955, Anaheim's Disneyland theme park has been a magical oasis for dreamers. Where else could your child meet that friendly little mouse from the pictures? More importantly, where else could you, a fully grown adult, follow around a young actor and roleplay with an individual who is contractually obligated to interact with you?
You've seen it on your feeds, you've watched the rushed recap videos. Today, I want to dive deeper into the Peter Pan issue at Disneyland, which will lead into a necessary conversation about immersive theater, customer service, and actor safety. But first, hi, my name is Taylor, queen of the magic yapdom. I make videos about the creation and consumption of art and entertainment, so if you like all things film, TV, and pop culture, please subscribe down below. But without further ado, let's fly. Second star to the right and straight into the drama. Throughout history, theme parks have focused their spending on heart-racing fun and shocking entertainment, not Disney. What distinguished this park from the very beginning was its transformational, immersive environment enhanced by character performers. Spontaneous encounters and personalized interactions are what allow you, the tourist, to be completely transported into a storybook adventure. Children who grew up watching Alice in Wonderland could meet Alice and do so in a place that looked like Wonderland. It's one of the most important ingredients to the Disney magic, and it works on people of all ages. But while children are likely to feel satisfied after a 3-minute encounter, Disney adults roaming the park are less easily dismissed. Their insatiable craving for the best interaction has recently become a viral spectacle. Let's address the lost boy in the room, shall we? Peter Pan has been part of the park since opening day, but it wasn't until the 1970s that he was played by a man, or a male-presenting actor. Someone with youthful features and a high register, but clearly not the traditional woman in boys' clothing. It's unclear why Disney made this change. Maybe they wanted to see if an adult man could improve believability for their adult audience. Maybe it was just vibes. Who knows? Either way, it led to some concerning behaviors. Most recently, a nearly 5-minute video sparked heated debate on TikTok. At the time of filming, this video has amassed 15 million views and 20,000 comments, a majority of which expressed concern over how the interaction plays out.
Pause. Me from the editing booth to remind you that this is not an endorsement to bully or harass anyone. This video is meant to analyze and unpack the sociological experience that we are witnessing and how it impacts the acting community and the entertainment community. Being unkind to anyone, even when we have thoughts, we can keep those thoughts to ourselves or we can put them in my comment section. Resume.
The Disney adult in question is named Tony, a small creator who documents her Disney antics. On paper, her video isn't that absurd. There are a few kind of long, awkward pauses caused by nervousness on Tony's part, some very in-character, sarcastic remarks made by the actor, and nothing that looks blatantly bad. But with 5 minutes of footage, the slightly awkward exchanges pile up, and the little remarks start to feel more like sharp attempts to exit the scenario.
We love you.
I know.
Oh!
Low-key, it feels like when I'm playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and I just kind of get stuck in the middle of the forest with the guy who has his leg trapped in a bear trap, and I just keep rehashing the same 4 dialogue beats. I really enjoy video games. I'm a gamer girl. What's happening in Tony's video is not new. If you were on Tumblr during the One Direction or Super Hulock eras, you may have encountered the Peter Pan fandom. These fans would post about their encounters in the park, discuss which actor they liked best, and exchange stories about their trips to Neverland. And since Peter Pan is my personal favorite Disney character, I can speak with authority here on why this draw is so strong for young girls. There's a rare safety in this character. He's playful, innocent, and uninhibited. Peter Pan always dealt with love delicately. There's no romance like in princess fairy tales, but that spark of curiosity between young adolescents on the verge of adulthood exists. As girls, we're inundated with stories about marriage, love, and motherhood. And then in our real lives, we're forced to grow up quite quickly for many unfortunate reasons. Peter Pan allows us to feel safe, drawing you in with a sincere desire for friendship and adventure rather than leading with romance. So, of course, when girls realized they could cosplay their own fantasies with a live actor, it became a bucket list activity in the parks. If you want a deep dive into this whole Peter Pandemonium, Ashley Norton has an excellent video about the Tumblr heyday, documenting how long this problem has been going on. Ashley shows how fans have been chasing Peter for much longer than Tony has even been going to the parks. We're simply seeing a new example of parasociality gone too far. Ultimately, this is not about shaming Disney adults. This is a question of boundaries between actor and audience. Because in reality, we all grow up, and when we do, how we engage in these relationships must grow as well. Traditionally, acting is confined to a set, a scene, an understood boundary between audience and actor. The boundary is upheld by the suspension of disbelief. When you go to a theater, you enter into an unspoken agreement to believe in the magic of the stage or the screen, further immersing yourself in the world. This is what lets you sit in sweats watching Spider-Man with popcorn grease dripping down your chin and still feel like you're swinging from one building to the next with him. Immersive performance asks you, as the viewer, to take a much more active part in the world. Instead of relaxing and enjoying, you are standing on your feet contributing to the story's development. At a Disney park, immersion happens the moment you're walking down Main Street. Acclimatizing to the magical world, you are then presented with hundreds of pathways to deepen the immersion, trading normalcy for fantasy. What is meant to be unleashed by Disney parks is unbridled joy and enthusiasm, a willingness to engage in play, which is culturally considered inappropriate for American adults in most spaces. The more you, as a guest, play into your part of a tourist visiting a fantasy world, the more joy you'll experience. Escapism like this is welcome when the government is wasting tax dollars building data centers nobody wants so the official White House can continue producing slop. The irony of a red lightsaber is actually crazy. That's crazy. Immersive stories allow for deeper emotional resonance and heightened creativity. For kids and adults, this form of theater allows you to unburden yourself from social inhibitions and maybe for the first time feel like you're the main character in a magical story. But therein lies the danger of immersion in a place like Disney. We can't all be main characters. In California's park, nearly 50,000 guests arrive every single day to enjoy the festivities. Obviously, not everyone attends for the interactions, so let's do some elementary thought experiments. Say Disneyland offers 4 main areas of interest: food, rides, adventure, and character entertainment. For ease, let's assume each has the same interest level. That still means 12,500 individuals roam the parks seeking immersive interactions with costume characters. Both statistical and anecdotal evidence says that child attendance has decreased in the parks, meaning a majority of those 12,000 people are adults. Of this demographic, it's safe to say many will be Disney adults who behave with entitlement as if they're more deserving of a superior experience because of their status in the community. Whether through the high prices paid for admission to the park or through the emotional ties to the space itself built through frequent repeat visits, especially common for Disneyland compared with Walt Disney World, Disney guests often exhibit this spirit of ownership. The rise of social media has led to a seemingly curious trend of guests recording and sharing their own bad behavior with the goal of extending this performance of ownership, making potential consequences actually more likely. Videos like Tony's are quite tame examples of the harmful parasocial dynamics at play in the parks. Discussion about the harassment and misconduct Disney actors encounter has been going on for years. Try as the mouse might, this company cannot seem to keep their immersive actors entirely protected from rogue guests. People who taunt, tease, touch, and treat the performers like big, colorful robots. Disturbing as it sounds, stalking in Disney context is a comparatively tame experience for staff. Some performers are forced to navigate more severe harassment while staying in character, afraid to break the magic for nearby guests who may be observing the scenario. It doesn't matter what kind of role you play either. One article notes 3 unique performers dressed as Mickey, Minnie, and Donald dealing with abuse from guests, creating a situation where actors feel responsible for getting themselves to safety without shattering any illusions or disrupting the workplace. Other instances show performers dealing with scenarios more forcefully, shock and fear on their faces as they're publicly intruded on. Inappropriate questions, suggestive photo poses, and non-consensual inappropriate contact occur at varying degrees of severity throughout the parks. Actors are already under increased stress for their career choice. Jobs are few and far between, and while a performance role in a theme park may not be anyone's first choice, it can be a great alternative to side hustles that involve zero acting whatsoever. But it's well known that Disney cast members perform under a microscope, required to maintain the highest quality and consistency throughout the parks. Fitting into costumes, maintaining appearances, keeping a clean internet profile, not revealing cast secrets, maintaining excellence in your scripted role, all these little environmental pressures pressures build up. And I wouldn't be surprised if this caused employees to minimize the severity of unsavory encounters. If not, ignore them altogether. Getting a job in a company that's notoriously picky about who they hire is strenuous enough without feeling like you're causing problems or complaining. So instead, you embrace your role as a living prop, little more than an animatronic, and hope customers are willing to be respectful. Patriarchal culture has normalized the dismissal and minimization of harassment. No matter what alt-right dudes tell you, the Me Too movement was not a witch hunt that ruined the world. It was a very small drop in an ocean of misconduct. There are very few cases in which a survivor receives adequate justice for what's occurred, and even if they do, there's the lifelong emotional pain that harassment causes. When these instances occur in the workplace, there's an additional layer of fear to navigate. Violations of your personal boundaries and safety are often linked to feelings of shame that prevent individuals from reporting any issues. Once a paycheck is associated, your literal livelihood, there can be an even stronger urge to suppress issues. The entertainment industry is a hotbed for this kind of pattern, and for every one celebrity who has spoken about misconduct, there are hundreds of smaller actors, the kind who work as extras or Disneyland employees, who are often dealing with these offenses in silence. Yes, companies provide resources for you to report incidents, but all social evidence reinforces our fears that I, a small, no-name actor, will be the one punished if I speak out. One might think the invention of social media and the constant surveillance that came with it would have discouraged bad behavior and casual harassment, but that would require logic. No, our society has arguably gotten worse as rage bait and the craving for virality drives ordinary people to tap into their most offensive instincts, framing it as a gotcha moment to come across as cool, funny, and oftentimes hyper-masculine. As ridiculous as it sounds, immersive theater in spaces like Disneyland can ruffle feathers of those who want to present as masculine because there's an inherent submission you must undergo. Letting your inhibitions down and going along with the silliness of Disneyland interactivity requires a willingness to be influenced. Individuals, often men, who resist are attempting to prove superiority and strength by going off script and breaking the magic. Fellas, is it gay to enjoy Disneyland instead of committing crimes against people who are trying to entertain children in 100-degree heat? Though stalking Peter Pan around the parks is not the same as physically assaulting an employee, they both live on the spectrum of harassment that plagues theme parks and haunts entertainment professionals. Actors hired for children's birthday parties are subjected to drunk parents getting handsy or verbal. They're forced to brush it off as part of the job. Emerging actors are always at risk of predatory leadership throughout the industry. Young actresses are lured into unsupervised nudity and intimacy scenes for student films so often it's become a household joke. Not to mention the fact that for most actors, we're working extra jobs that are just as brutal. Customer service, hospitality, assisting. Disneyland is simply a place where these behaviors are recorded and uploaded under the belief that audiences will laugh along. And while we can point the finger at a corporation all we want, this company does have a pretty thorough safety system in place. Union-mandated breaks, heat advisory protections, on-site security, incident hotlines, cast member handlers, specialized transportation routes, not to mention the peer responsibility they implement by encouraging staff to watch out for one another and celebrate cast members who go above and beyond. I'm not saying it's perfect by any means. I don't work here and can't speak to specific processes. However, this issue is rooted more deeply in the culture we've built. Community members are responsible for one another, and for too long there has been aggression and shame aimed at those who speak up and voice disagreement with actions of casual harassment. Literally look at the government. Look who's running things. Our world has exalted bullies and abusers, either by blatant support or by remaining complicit, saying you're not interested and minimizing the suffering this has caused. When this toxicity is normalized at such extreme levels, it's no wonder average citizens feel comfortable crossing boundaries and often don't even realize they've done so. The solution isn't on one person, it's in community. Not digital community, in person, real, face-to-face. We can comment all we want on awkward videos like this. We can bite back online at people who try to justify offensive behavior as just a joke. But real prevention starts by finding the courage to confront these problems head on. Not every confrontation demands a fight. We've gotten so comfortable with complacency that any disagreement feels like it's inevitably going to escalate into a massive argument. In reality, this kind of culture can only disappear with relentless effort made by community members. Systemic change does need to happen. Corporations as well as legislation needs to be radically altered to provide the population with protection. That's still a goal we should uphold, vote in favor of, and demand from companies, especially those who can afford a personal therapist for every employee. But we also need to push those around us who are equipped to speak up despite discomfort. Hold them accountable for their actions or their complacency. When you're not dealing with someone who would make you unsafe, confront them yourself. We have collectively let ourselves shrink away from real-life, difficult conversations or helping strangers because someone else will do it. But you don't need a badge to intercept a conversation you can see going in the wrong direction. As a matter of fact, it's probably better if you didn't. These actors are obligated to maintain a facade, which makes interactions like these especially overwhelming. If you're in the parks or you see your friends posting on social media about a strange encounter, don't let it slip by. This viral moment deserves a conversation, yes, but not the one that we're having. This isn't a case of one individual stalking Peter Pan who needs to be exposed and everyone else is normal. Working in entertainment, most folks enter a job worried about when a situation like this will occur, not if. Changing that will not solely rely on corporate solutions. It demands community scrutiny, accountability, and care. Actors live to bring magic to the world. All we want to do is share stories that allow viewers to escape. In an environment as unique as Disney, when you're invited up close and welcomed into their space, make it part of your mission to keep them safe. No one is entitled to an actor's humanity. If you see someone taking advantage of it, call them out or find a creative way to solve the problem. Otherwise, we'll be waiting an eternity for corporate solutions to a community problem. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. This was a slightly different video from me. I'm usually more focused on film or actors, but this feels more about the little guy in entertainment, of which I am. I have auditioned for theme parks. Working for Disney or Universal would be genuinely a great side hustle if I was located near one of those parks. And I don't think the only actors who deserve our attention and our support are ones who make 7 figures a year. Immersive performance and cosplay and LARPing, I think, are such positive things in our society. It can be really fun. It can help people who have different abilities kind of feel more comfortable in a very overwhelming space. It can give people validation for seeing themselves in a character that maybe they grew up not really identifying with. Overall, it is a net positive space. It is a net positive experience. But the less polished underbelly of it, I think, is worth paying attention to because we want to preserve experiences like this. And again, I want to reiterate, leave your thoughts in the comment of this video. Don't just go engage with the content online and start bullying or harassing any people. That is exactly the opposite of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to create a no harassment zone for anyone. I don't want anyone to endure the kind of discomfort and shame and humiliation of being harassed in any way or bullied in any way. That is not what we need to be doing. We need to have complicated conversations with nuance, and we need to not just run and dunk on people. That is just like not even beneficial. Again, my name is Taylor. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for watching. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and click the button, hit the bell so you get notified when I post. You can also follow me on all my social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Letterboxd, Substack. Hey, started posting on there. I got 2 articles. Let's see how that goes. I'm gonna go fly and fight some pirates and also be a mermaid. My tail color is a beautiful iridescent lavender with a sort of ombre effect, and my powers are all of them. So good luck choosing your powers. Love you. Bye.